This is RTF. This is not a conversation on cap. It's about quarterbacks getting their money. It's about them. Not talking about the impact on the cap. I'm talking about them. When you pay your quarterback, you do not make the Super Bowl and win it, but one guy. That's the point. Okay. I want to show you something here. I wrote this down here. Where is it? Okay. I put this on my Twitter page. You know, you guys keep talking to me about Jalen Hurts taking a team to a Super Bowl. Okay. I wrote down the best quarterbacks to take teams to a Super Bowl and lose in the last 20 years that haven't won one. And here's my ranking of the top 10 quarterbacks that lost the Super Bowl that have never won a Super Bowl. Okay? That have never won. Here. Number 10, Matt Hasselbeck. Went to a Super Bowl. Number 9, Colin Kaepernick. Went to a Super Bowl. Number 8, Jimmy Garoppolo. Went to a Super Bowl and lost, of course. Number 8, Jimmy G. Number 7, these are my top 10 quarterbacks in a losing effort. And the 10 best quarterbacks. Number 7, Jalen Hurts. This is not performance. I'm talking about the best quarterbacks to lose a Super Bowl. Number 6, Brock Purdy. Number 5, Jared Goff. Number 4, former NFL MVP, Matt Ryan. Number 3, Donovan McNabb. Number 2, former NFL MVP, Cam Newton. And number 1, Joe Burrow. Wow, that's quite a list. Burrow, Cam, McNabb, Matt Ryan, Jared Goff, Brock Purdy, Jalen Hurts, Jimmy G, Colin Kaepernick, and Matt Hasselbeck. You really put your quarterback in that group of guys that had lost Super Bowls? Those guys carried football teams too to their Super Bowls. When you bring that up, you sound like idiots. Okay, I didn't go back even further to Rex Grossman. I just said the last, I think I went back the last 20 years. Remember, Brady lost Super Bowls too. So did Manning. Okay, so Breeze too. I do say, oh no, I do. Here's the list. Joe Burrow, by far better than Hurts. Cam, by far better than Hurts. McNabb. I mean, you could debate. That's your call. Who's better, McNabb or Hurts? Matt Ryan, former NFL MVP. Jared Goff, taking 2 teams to 2 NFC championships. Different teams. Brock Purdy, in his first 2 years, done by far more. I mean, your low-hanging fruit that you go to with Jalen, well, he got a team to a Super Bowl. So did these guys. And lost. I mean, I'm talking about a guy who can carry your football team year in and year out. That's what I'm talking about. There is no question. Is Josh Allen on that list? No, Josh Allen is on this list. Here are your MVP candidates and the front runners right now on this day, May 9th, right now, for the most valuable player award. Number 10, Jalen Hurts. Number 9, Dak Prescott. Number 8, Justin Herbert. Number 7, Senor, Brock Purdy. Number 6, this ain't me either. This is Vegas and Atlantic City. Jordan Love, Packers. Number 5, Lamar Jackson, Baltimore Ravens. Number 4, CJ Stroud, Texans. Number 3, Joe Burrow, Bengals. Number 2, Josh Allen. Number 1, Patty Mahomes. This ain't my call. These are people that put up the numbers. Okay? Hurts is 10, Allen's 2 to win the most valuable player award. So just in case you're keeping score. And by the way, this ain't my list. This ain't the Big Sills favorites for MVP. This is Atlantic City and Vegas. That's who they think is going to be the most valuable player. Either Mahomes, Allen, Burrow. Those are your top 3. Hurts is 10th. So you asked, I gave. Not me. Okay, look at this. Matt goes like this. Josh Allen at 2 has no weapons. I know. What's that say about your guy who has all the weapons? Hurts, once again, the biggest question mark on the Eagles. Not your linebackers. Okay? Sinbad, Allen won't make the playoffs. Okay? We shall see. Very stacked AFC with all those great signal callers and head coaches and all those play callers. Could be. That money's still on that guy getting to at least the second round of the playoffs. How about that? Interesting. Now, what I like to do here is take people's words and ask you guys questions. Okay? Please hit the like button, by the way. Thank you. Putting him 10th is completely fair, Sills. He's a running back playing quarterback. Carmine says, I think he's the best Wildcat quarterback I've ever seen throw the ball. Jalen Hurts is a blown-up version of a Wildcat quarterback who can throw it with some proficiency. Yeah. He's a Wildcat quarterback. He has more success running the ball. Well, they're taking that out of the game, though. Okay, if you look at it, all the rushing touchdowns he has actually have led to nothing. Because nobody on the list that I just named you is a running quarterback except for Lamar. Everyone else, Herbert doesn't run, really. Dak doesn't run. Purdy doesn't run. Love doesn't run. Stroud doesn't run. Burrow doesn't run. Allen does. Mahomes doesn't run. And here, I want to show you something else before we get going. I thought this was interesting. This goes to my point when you start paying quarterbacks and wide receivers. Carson Wentz, 17-19 was pretty good. 4,000 passing yards without a receiver over 500 yards, which is amazing. Hurts can't throw for 4,000 yards, Forrest, and he's had 2 years in a row with wide receivers over 1,000. Can you figure that one out? I can't still. I still can't. I still can't figure that out. Let me show you something here, and tell me what your takeaway is. Tell me what your takeaway is on this. Here are the top 10 highest paid quarterbacks in the league. Is Josh Allen a Wildcat quarterback? Wildcat quarterbacks don't throw for 4,500 yards. Sorry, no, Prince, he's not. If Allen was on the Eagles, how far would we go? You'd be undefeated. You see the difference between Jalen Hurts and Josh Allen? Josh Allen actually 300 yards. That's the difference. Hurts can't throw for 3,900 yards. Well, let me get back onto this here. I don't want to get back onto the same conversation as we get and go down that stupid-ass rabbit hole of yours. I'm not debating that. Let me show you something here. And let me know what you're taking. Josh Allen led the league in interceptions and has the same winning percentage as Jalen Hurts. And has won conference titles 4 years in a row. Or excuse me, division titles 4 years in a row. Jalen Hurts is third in interceptions, and he can't win his division in the NFC with the Cowboys and the Commanders and the Giants in it. Seriously? LJ only goes to the INTs. It doesn't matter. He still wins. Okay. Tell me what your takeaway is on this. Here are the 10 highest paid quarterbacks in the National Football League. Number 1 is Joe Burrow, $55 million. Appearance. Okay. Number 2, Justin Herbert, $52.5 million. Number 3, Lamar, $52 million. Number 4, Jalen Hurts, 51, appearance. Number 5, Russell Wilson, 48.5. He didn't get there with that contract. He was on a rookie deal when he got to the Super Bowls and won it. Number 6, Kyler Murray, 46.1. Deshaun Watson, $46 million. Number 8, Patrick Mahomes, $45 million. Number 9, Kirk Cousins, $45 million. Number 10, Josh Allen, $43 million. What's your takeaway with that? What's your takeaway with that? There's only one guy on this list that has a Super Bowl victory once he signed a big contract. And only 2 guys that have gotten to the game. I mean, you pay your quarterback that money. Just because you pay him doesn't mean there's a guarantee he's going to a Super Bowl. The contracts blind you when it comes to your expectations. Because it goes down to next guy up, not who's the better guy next. It just shows you, again, when these guys here, this is RTF. This is not a conversation on cap. It's about quarterbacks getting their money. It's about them. Not talking about the impact on the cap. I'm talking about them. When you pay your quarterback, you do not make the Super Bowl and win it, but one guy. That's the point. Do cap hits now. I'll get to that, Kit. When cap hits, this is not what the conversation is. When you pay your quarterback, there is zero guarantee but for one guy who will deliver a championship, and it's Patrick Mahomes. So when you pay these guys, the end result is you're really not going to win one. There is a less of a chance of you winning a Super Bowl once you pay them. You know why? I've got 9 examples. Once you pay these players, you do not win. Brady was never the highest. Brady never got paid. Brady was never in his entire time the highest paid quarterback in pro football, ever. Took pay cuts. Salary cap decide. Once again, when you pay a quarterback over $45 million, you don't win Super Bowls. That's the conversation. Big Sills is putting this out here for you, and you're disputing it because you're talking about salary. This is about paying your guy. You pay a guy, just because you pay him doesn't mean he's going to deliver. And the more likelihood, get this, this guy goes, you talk to him. Well, when you look at every one of these quarterbacks that are making over $45 million and only one guy's won a Super Bowl, what's the point of paying them? They don't deliver championships. Unless you have the guy. You're throwing money after here. Almost 95% of these contracts that they sign won't pan out. What am I suggesting? I'm not suggesting anything. I'm just saying, here's the Packers now. Would you pay Jordan Love $55 million based off of 1 year like you guys did with Hurts? His contract is up. Would you pay him $55 million? 55-1, 55-4? Would you pay him? Would you pay Jordan Love $55 million because he's the next guy up? And would you pay Dak 60? Jordan Love sat for 3 years and now his contract is up. Okay, would you pay him $55 million, senor? Would you pay Jordan Love $55 million? If the 49ers are smart, they'll wait to pay Purdy. Forrest Hill, exactly what the Eagles should have did. But again, the one thing that Howie did do, and some of you have brought it up, again, that's a different conversation when I'm asking you about the cap. He did it. However, I'm talking about once you ink these $250 million deals don't work. You know why? No one's done it but Mahomes. In the last 10 years of these $45 million contracts, one guy's done it. And you're going to put a guy in there. Are you going to pay Jordan Love $55 million? Yes or no? And you're going to go, well, what's the alternative? Look at how the paying of these quarterbacks, it's a fail-safe to the league to make sure that your football team doesn't get too good. I mean, 9 guys on this list have not won Super Bowls. And Jordan Love's up next. You paying him or you're not paying him? Sills, here's my takeaway. The next guy up mentality will kill the NFL and lead to a lockout to reset the deck. Owners, put a cap on it? Maybe. Maybe. Josh Allen is clearly a better passer than Jalen Hurts and averages more yards per carry too. Hurts over Allen is even dumb. It is. It's a dumb conversation. It's so stupid. Josh Allen got paid. You said he was the second best. He is the second best quarterback in the NFL. I'm not the only one that says that. Burrow and Jalen got the Super Bowl. See why teams paid them? Yeah, well, I showed you a list of quarterbacks who went to the Super Bowl too. Those teams, Colin Kaepernick got to one. Donovan McNabb, Matt Ryan, Jared Goff, Brock Purdy, Jimmy G, Matt Hasselbeck, Rex Grossman, Jake Delhomme. They're all losers in Super Bowls too over the last 20 years. Congratulations. Quite a list to be on. Quite a list. Hurts is 500 versus the Cowboys. He's 3-3. Correct. So the Bills will not win a Super Bowl since Josh Allen got paid. Well, isn't it funny that Mahomes is the 8th highest paid quarterback? You think that's by design? They could pay Kelsey and Chris Jones? Because that's really all they have. You need more than a quarterback. Every piece to the puzzle has to fit. That's why the Chiefs are the Chiefs. Correct, Forrest Hill. Because of coaching, ownership, and assistant coaches. They have all the boxes checked. Philly doesn't. I like the coordinators' conversations today. I did. Last I checked, football is a team game. Brady had very good defensive teams. He had the greatest defensive, but he also had the greatest defensive coach in the history of pro football as his head coach. Okay? So all the quarterbacks that got paid will not win a Super Bowl. No, I said all the quarterbacks that got paid, except for one, haven't won one. That's what I said. I don't know what they're going to do. I'm not a fortune teller. Okay? Yeah, Josh Allen's on that list too. Absolutely. He's 10th. $43 million. Only one quarterback's won a Super Bowl, Mahomes. Of the top 10 highest paid guys, Mahomes is the only guy. That's all I said. Not one guy on here. Some of these guys haven't even gotten close. And you think that by happenstance, Jalen's going to get back to another one. Okay. Hurts, when used right, can win a Super Bowl. Not going back over that one, but true. You just said he can't do it if you're top. What's Lawrence's? His contract is up too. And the best tight end in history? He's not the best tight end in history. That guy's Rob Gronkowski. He's the greatest. You know why? He does something that Jason Kelce can't. It's called blocking. And he's the greatest blocking tight end with the greatest pair of hands of all time. And his numbers in the postseason speak to it. Seals, based on that list, GMs should build their team and then find the quarterback to get them over the top instead of finding the guy and build around them. Bob, absolutely, because you know why? Finding Brady, LJ says it all the time, finding Brady and Mahomes is like finding a needle in the haystack. Your chances of winning a Super Bowl with a high-paid quarterback just because he's next and paying him is ridiculous. You've never had Mahomes in your building. 30 other teams haven't. Well, yeah, 30, because Brady in New England is Mahomes. Finding that guy, you need to do what the 49ers did. They had a guy making $800,000. $800,000. And he was overtime away from winning it. And shredding all that on paying these guys. Seals, where do you place Bavaro in the all-time tight end list? Different era, dude. I think if they would have threw him the ball more, he would have been more in the line of, I would take him over Jason Witten any day. Jason Witten was a hybrid halfback. Bavaro was spectacular in games when they needed him the most. But the Giants weren't built that way to throw the ball. Vic Fangio asked about the Eagles having the least amount of practices in the NFL last year. Vic, well, we got to make do with what you got, but I'm pushing for more. I heard him say that. Imagine that. Vic Fangio's got to ask for more practice time so that he can install his defense, and the Eagles push back on it. Why in the world would you push back on Vic Fangio trying to install a 34? Seals, would you pay missing Parsons? Man, tough question, Tank. Tough question. I don't think he's as good as he thinks he is. And you know what? Put him in another system. How about this? Tank, if you put Parsons in Tennessee, he's a common player. But because he plays on the Cowboys, I say you play on the Cowboys, you get an extra $8 million to your salary if you're good. Because you're always overpaid. I can't think of a player that they've had in the recent 10 years where they didn't overpay for a player. And you look at the value. Dak Prescott's not a $50 million guy. Come on. He's about a $35 million guy. Ezekiel Elliott, you really thought he was an $18 million running back? Absolutely not. You think he was Derrick Henry? Give me a break. Do you really think CeeDee Lamb's with Justin Jefferson? He's $10 million overvalued. I'm not paying CeeDee Lamb that kind of money. I'll go get T. Higgins and get the same results for less money. Dude, CeeDee Lamb is T. Higgins to me. Zach Martin I'm paying for. And Matt, imagine this. That's the guy they didn't want to pay. That's the guy they didn't want to pay. They didn't want to pay. Fangio ain't calling no shots. He's got to ask for Daddy Roseman's permission. I don't know, man. That's not how that came away. Flexing, I don't know, man. That's not how I came away from that presser. I don't think Vic's sitting up there And I don't think he's sitting up there going like this. Hey, man, I'm just going to sit up here and lie like Sirianni does. He didn't come off that way to me. Sirianni comes off as a liar. Fangio came off as a coach. So no, I didn't feel that way. Now, he could prove me wrong. Vic Fangio said his defensive ends would on occasion drop back in coverage. I heard that. I'm an Eagle fan, but I have to admit that CD is a top 5, maybe top 3 wide receiver. Really, you would take him over Justin Jefferson, Devontae Adams, and A.J. Brown? Not me. You would take CD Lamb over A.J. Brown, Justin Jefferson, and Devontae Adams? Really? Not me. No way. No way. I don't think he's better than Jamar Chase. Hey, Adams, I would. Really? Take a look at who threw Devontae Adams the football last year and look at his numbers. Imagine if he had Rodgers again. If he had 1,800, 1,700 yards again. I can't even think of what was his name? O'Connell? Who threw the ball to him? And then you would take him over AJ? Come on, man. You would take him over Tyreek Hill. You would take CD Lamb over Tyreek Hill. Really? You have a great point, but there's a lot of money in the NFL. Perez, that's a great take. Caps are going up. The position is of value. You're looking at faces of the franchise. That's their stars. You're right, Perez. You're not wrong with that observation. You're not. Senor, Jordan Love is making $20 million in 2024. How much is Jordan Love getting? Are you paying him 55? Sills, if building and then finding the quarterback is the right way to go, how we might not be as inept as we think. The D is still a problem. But if Hurts doesn't deliver, he can find the guy. Bob, I never thought of it that way, and I think you're onto something. I was talking to Xander about this. Xander, think about this here, man. Maybe that's one of the reasons why Howie continually puts talented people in the offensive huddle, because he knows he's not the guy. That's the only reason you do that. Because if you thought you had the guy's going to carry the team. The team is carrying Hurts. You know why we know that? Everyone had a career year but him. Jalen Hurts was carried last year to 11 wins. He didn't deliver them. Maybe the Buffalo game. That was a great game by him. Well, it was a great quarter by him. Josh Allen had over 500 yards in total offense in that game, all by himself. I think Stephon Diggs had 70 yards of that 500 yards. The team last year carried him. Okay? Carried him. Every guy had a career year but him. Okay? 2 years ago, he carried the team. Absolutely, JM. True. Absolutely. Concede that. Absolutely. Well, Richard says Josh's not carrying shit. Well, he'll have to, because there's nothing there. Just like Mahomes, there's nothing there. There's really no offensive weapons except the tight end. Outside the tight end, there's nothing. Zero. And that Rashid Rice is imploding in Kansas City. Now he's being accused of an assault charge. Come on, guy. You're throwing your career away here. Okay? Not every quarterback. Look at banker Robert Daniel Jones, 4 years, 160. You're not going anywhere with him either. There is nothing Devontae does better than CD. Not even routes he's better at. You're being mad disrespectful to CD. He's really effing good. I never said he wasn't effing good. He's not those guys, though. And I never said, and by the way, Devontae's the number 2. You're comparing CD Lamb, who's going to get number 1 money, to a guy who took number 2 money He's the second best receiver on the Eagles. That's who you're comparing CeeDee Lamb to? I think that pretty much says it all you need to know. And 304, I love you, man, but once you compare him to a frontline guy like Justin Jefferson, he's not in his conversation. He's in the conversation of like Ayuk and Devontae and Puka Nacua. Is he top 10? Yes. But he's in that. Money has nothing to do with skill set. The quarterback pay proves it. Kyler Murray makes more money than Patrick Mahomes on a base salary. Totally has nothing to do with it. Didn't Josh get his offense? Dog, you take Hurts, I'll take Allen. Stop with this. I don't care anymore. Nobody but the people in Philly think this. Nobody. And now I'm going to get to a point here. So let me ask you this. How many people take what Kenny Gainwell said about the front office disconnect? What was your takeaway with that? No, we're not going to revisit this. Promise. Just a question here. What was your takeaway that Kenny Gainwell called out the coach's front office for not connecting last year? And he did this, I guess, on a show a couple days ago. And we kind of hit on it. We went into it yesterday. What was your takeaway from that? What was your takeaway? What were some of the comments yesterday? He sucks as a player. Right? He's not very good. He's been read kind of like where he stands on the team now because Shipley was drafted. These are some of your comments, right? I think I've never been a fan of Kenny Gainwell. Gainwell is garbage. He can go. Eagle fan right here saying that. Okay? So Eagle fan thinks Gainwell's garbage. Amber goes, he's stating the obvious. Okay? Who cares? On to 24. Agreed. Agreed? You could dress a pig any way you want to put it, but it's still a pig. Carmine. Okay, so one more here, just on he's garbage, but better than Shipley. All right, enough with that. So Howard Eskin goes on his weekly segment on WIP this morning, and I heard it. And I'm quoting, Jason Kelce used to point out where the blitz was coming from. Used to point out where it's coming from. Love you, Sills. It's all, oh, absolutely. 304, I love you, man. Appreciate it. By the way, super chats go to the front. Eskin said that Jason Kelce used to point out where the blitzes were coming from to give him a heads up, Jalen Hurts. And Howard Eskin said he still couldn't read it. He still couldn't read it. He still couldn't pick it up. This was Eskin talking about a conversation he had with Jason Kelce. You believe Jason Kelce is not a bum, right? And he set the protections. Hurts. The blitz is coming from here. Jalen still couldn't see it. Is this a problem? So Jalen can't read where blitzes are coming from. He can't see them. He can't read defenses. And you paid that guy $50 million for a quarterback who can't play and read defenses and read blitz and where the blitzing's coming from on pre-snap reads. This isn't me. This is Jason Kelce talking. Jason Kelce's not a fucking bum. No matter what Kellen Moore does, schematically, the quarterback has to have the fundamentals on pre-snap reads, on where to throw the ball and where the blitz pressure is coming from. He doesn't know it. I could not believe I heard that. Howard Eskin's the mouthpiece of the Eagles. He's not going to throw anything out to jeopardize his accessibility. Go look at N91. Go back and listen. I listened to it twice. There's nothing twisting here. I'm not that smart, N91. I don't take something and twist it into something. I'm not that smart. You're giving me more credit than credit's due. That's not what I am or what I say. Jason Kelce told Howard Eskin that in his assignments that he had when it came to setting the pass protection, he told Hurts where to expect the pressure. Hurts couldn't handle the pressure because he couldn't see it. Is this troubling? This ain't me. This is what I've been telling you for 2 years about the kid. He can't read defenses. Gotcha, 91. 91. All good, brother. I couldn't believe what I heard. You paid a guy $50 million who can't read the assignments, knowing, get this, Kelce's in the Bucks game. Dude, they're going to have internal pressure coming in the A-gap. Hurts couldn't see it. You think that's a problem? Now you got an inexperienced center and a new coordinator. You think that improves? I think that's a skill set that you have got to have a little bit of internally where you can process the information more. I think this is why he got beat out at Alabama, because Tua can process the information more. Xander was down there. The one thing that Tua does, he knows where to throw the ball. He sees pressure. Does he have a great arm? Absolutely not. Peyton Manning didn't. But they knew where to go with the ball. Tua's a bum. At least he can read a defense. And he knows where pressure's coming from. Noodle arm. That noodle arm threw for 4,600 yards last year. Get this. People are calling Tua a noodle arm. 4,600 yards passing. Noodle arm? What's your guy then? If Tagovailoa is a noodle arm, what's Hurts? Tyreek Hill? A.J. Brown? Look at it. You don't win that argument with Tagovailoa. He sees defenses better. Xander, now I know why Saban made the move. Listening to Howard Eskin talking about Jason Kelce, now I know why they made the move at Alabama. He can't read defenses, and he can't pick up blitzing. He's still evolving in that. Now, will he get better? Hopefully. Hopefully. I mean, you don't have a problem with your quarterback not being able to read blitzes and know where pressure's coming from. In the NFL, you got a 4-year starter who doesn't know where pressure's coming from, and you think you're going back to the Super Bowl, and he can't progression read? Dude, your biggest liability on your team, Or no, not liability. Your biggest question mark's your QB. Once again, coaching was inept. Dude, this has nothing to do with coaching. Jason Kelce set the protection, turned to him in the huddle and told him where it was coming from. He still couldn't see it. That's got nothing to do with coaching. That's the kid recognizing and processing. When he goes back and he's in a 7-step drop and he's processing the information. This is the shit that hampered Wentz. This isn't coaching. This is Jason Kelce. Hey, Spike, go listen to the interview. Go listen to the interview. Jason Kelce said, I told him where pressure was coming from. I set the protection. He couldn't see it still. Oh, Anthony, okay. No, I agree with that. Like I said, this is extremely worrying. He's still struggling with this. 4 years in. Forget reading defenses. He couldn't read his own damn routes. Hey, it got so bad, only 2 people were targeted. 22 was the same thing, target 2 people. Death row. This is what makes the RPO offense that he ran so perfect for Hurts. Watch this. You snap the ball, right? He turns and he decides either to hand it off, keep it himself and run, or throw it. It's self-contained. You don't have to read anything. It's decision-making. No one ever questions Jalen Hurts' decision-making in those split seconds. I think that's a hard offense to run, that RPO, but it's dangerous to health. They're more concerned about his health than him moving the sticks. Honestly, what they've done is they've hampered him. They're not coaching him right. My takeaway is the Philadelphia Eagles, no matter if Kellen Moore or anyone else, I think this guy is being coached wrong. You give me 7 years of Jalen Hurts, 22, Jalen Hurts is going to take you to an NFC championship game. You give me 10, 12 years of 2023, you're not going anywhere. And you'll have massive disappointment. Now, you're going to go somewhere. Why? Because of what the cap hits on what LJ says. The money's not crazy against the cap. It affords them AJ and Devontae. And it affords them Saquon because they need those guys to win 11 games and to put them around the rim. That's how they built this team. Hearing a Hall of Fame center say that the quarterback struggles at the 2 things that you have to have: pocket presence and awareness on pressure, pre-snap reads, and he's not good at it, not my guy. This ain't me saying it. That's Jason Kelce saying it. You don't think that's a problem? It's a poor system? No, Richard. So what I think is going to happen, they're going to resort to going back to 22. They're going to resort to going back to 22 sometime this coming year. Or either that, Jalen's going to, he's going to. And then we'll see how long he lasts. Jalen played one of the hardest schedules in the NFL last year with bad coaching. He wasn't hurt. That's a lie. He was never on the IR at any time last year. 1 second. You made that up. They have to. Sills RPO is the only thing this clown can do. No, I think he's proficient throwing the ball out of the RPO. I do. Tanner McKee, Nick Bose is the one that said all this as well. Now it's just coming out. We need an RPO system to succeed with him. Frankly, at the end of the year, Jalen looked more like 21 than he did 22. It's a great observation, Anthony, and that's pretty true. So the knee brace was all for show. Absolutely. It's an excuse. Knee brace. Hey, kid, you're either hurt or you're not. You don't have to fake injuries in National Football League and put knee braces on or put whatever on. You don't think Mahomes or any of these other guys were banged up? Come on, guy. If you're hurt, go on IR. Take a week off. As a matter of fact, you should have been benched last year. Between 1 and 7, 1 and 6, you should have been benched somewhere in there. You should have clearly been benched in the playoff game. You were terrible. They should have put Mariota in. Wouldn't have been any different. Should have benched his ass. You should have benched Jordan Davis. Nobody wants to do the tough move in that room. Jordan Davis should have been benched. Hurts should have been benched. Let's see. Who else? Jordan Davis benched. You could have made an argument Josh Sweat should have been benched. I'm not going to even pick on the linebackers because they needed them. James Bradbury should have been benched. Of all guys. No one benched anybody. I'll tell you, like I said, though, we started the program off those coordinators. I felt pretty good about them. I actually liked what I heard with Kellen Moore. I did. He has a propensity for the detail, and he was talking terminology and working with things. And I don't know. I'll tell you what, I got more of an ability to give him the benefit of the doubt more today on May 9th than I did when we were talking before. One bad year with new coordinator. Hey, Nick, he's only had one good year. Stop doing that. You're making it sound like this is a 10-year veteran who's been playing great for 9 of them. He's had 4 years in the league and he's played great 1. Give me a break. So you're saying Jordan Love then should be paid $55 million then? Really? Would you pay Jordan Love? He's got 1 year. Let's base it off for Hurts as a metric. Would you pay him $55 million? I agree his schedule was brutal. Well, when you're good, you usually play good teams, don't you, Spin? When you're good, don't you play good teams, or do you want to continue to play shitty teams like you did in 22? Sills, you think Manning's kid will be good? Arch, I don't know. He's still third team down there. And Quinn is still the starting quarterback at Texas. I'd pay Jordan Love because the Packers draft well. $55 million off of 1 year for Jordan Love. You know, the play caller's good. Okay? Stop pocket watching, Sills. I was just listening to Jason Kelsey talking. Said your boy can't read defenses and he can't pick up blitz. He can't pick up blitzing. I'm not sure what else to say to that. There's not anything else to say. Really nothing to say. I didn't say that. Well, I have been saying that, but your captain said it. We should want to play and beat good teams. I think the teams that play the good teams are more prepped and ready to roll when it comes to the postseason. I think you're more battle tested. Hurts wants to learn, needs better coaching. Well, shit, dude, it's 4 years in. You know what I liked also what Nick's – hey, did you hear what Vic said also? And I think this probably goes into Hurts a little bit. Someone asked a question, and this one here I'm paraphrasing here. He goes, how many defensive coordinators have you guys had since the Nick Sirianni era? How many coordinators? What is that? 21? Let's see. Gannon, Desai, Patricia, and now Vic. So 4 in the last 3 years you've had coordinators, defensive coordinators, right? Okay. He was asked the question, do you think all that turnover makes it hard to connect with the players? And you know what Vic's answer was? It's clearly a challenge. One year you're told this, one year you're told that. The next year you're told two different things in 1 year. How can you play well? You got so many voices and so many cooks in the kitchen trying to make a hamburger, no one made it right. One guy did. Because it was his install. And Vic said it's a challenge. So you guys are sitting here telling me on May 9th in September, Vic's going to have this defense primed and ready to be a top 10 defensive football team. That's not how he sounded. He thinks he needs more practice time. He thinks it's going to be a challenge when it comes to terminology and installing things. You think they're going to be a top 10 defense on September. That's not how he sounded. I don't know, Xander. Maybe you had a different takeaway. That was my takeaway. He thought this was going to be a process. You know what else he said? He goes, I got to figure out and still understand my players. So you don't know the players. You've got to figure out the personnel still. You got to install, and you need more practice time. And you're limited because of the collective bargaining agreement. Kellen Moore is the head coach. Nick is the housekeeper filling up water bottles. Nick is the concierge for the yachtsman. I like that, Death Row. I mean, that wasn't my takeaway. But again, what I liked was I felt confident. If I was a player in that locker room and I heard Vic and him talking, I'd be like, all right. All right. Yeah, all right. Let's go. See what we got here. Vic is a linebacker coach at heart, and he has the worst linebacking core in the league. Well, I'd rather, you know what? If I have the worst linebacking core, JM, I'd want to have at least the linebacker coach being my coordinator, not a secondary guy. You know what I'm saying? At least he knows what to look for. That guy's not playing. Hey, man, I'll tell you what. I didn't hear any ringing endorsement from Vic Fangio about Nakobe Dean. I heard the words compete. I didn't hear anything about anything. Okay? I didn't hear any of that. That is not what I heard. I heard a guy who was like, hey, we're going to compete out here for gigs. Arguably, who's more important, the king or that risks life and limb to deliver the message, or the courier? I get it. You're not Forte. Dean ain't starting. I don't believe Dean will either, but I'm not sure what kind of options you have. Every good team we played was playing us off their bye week too. Stop making excuses, Spin. Good teams win at the end of the year. If Dak went 1-6, they talk about it on ESPN still. 304. Dak Prescott has the toughest job in American sports. You understand that. It's the modern day version of playing center field for the Yankees when you're following DiMaggio and Mantle and you're Bobby Mercer, or you're following Derek Jeter. Playing center field back in the day used to be the premier position in American sports because you had DiMaggio and Mantle. And when you play on the Yankees and you're the centerpiece like Jeter, Derek Jeter, how about this? Derek Jeter in Kansas City or Milwaukee, he's Robin Yount. 304, he's Robin Yount. But because he's the starting quarterback with the Cowboys, and they're the most visible television show in America, remember that. Dak Prescott is the biggest TV star in America. You know why? Cowboys are the most seen television show in America, year in and year out. Nobody watches anything more. Mainstream television, reality television, American Idol. The Cowboys dominate the television world. So he has the toughest job. So no matter what he does, even if he succeeds, it doesn't matter. They'll find something to hammer him with. By the way, that has nothing to do with him being a good quarterback or not. It's the position. It's nothing to do with Dak. You guys are sitting there going, Dak sucks. Who cares if Dak sucks? He's a starting quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys. Joe Dipshit could be the starting quarterback of the Cowboys, and he'd still be the number one TV star. You're missing the point. It's not about Dak. Dak's irrelevant. It's the position. It's the position. Yount is in the Hall of Fame. And I know you'd never, if Robin Yount, watch this. If Tony Gwynn played in New York with the Yankees and won 9 batting titles, how do you think they would look at him? They'd be calling him Ty Cobb. And he'd be one of the most famous players in New York Yankee history, which meant he'd be one of the most famous icons in baseball history. When people talk about the greatest hitters of all time, and you lined up 20 people who were novice baseball fans, they probably don't mention Tony Gwynn's name. Tony Gwynn averaged 350, 340 something? Highest batting average since World War II. For World War II players. I think he had the highest batting average. You wouldn't put Gwynn in there unless you were a baseball fan and you knew who Tony Gwynn and what his accomplishments were. But because he played in San Diego, nobody gave a shit. Okay? I mean, I knew Tony Gwynn. Dallas is all about the money. Okay, yes. When the only time that Dallas wasn't about the money in the TV show was when Jimmy was there, and that's why they won. Oh, man, Tony Gwynn was a tremendous ball player and a tremendous man. Surprisingly fast for a fat guy. Hey, JM, do you want to hear something crazy about Gwynn? Do you know who the all-time assist guy is in San Diego Aztec basketball history? It's Tony Gwynn. He was on the Aztec basketball team. Shows you how crazy he was. He's the all-time assist guy in Aztec basketball history. Amber goes, it's easy to tell the Biden voters in this gossip based on how they comment. Always missing the point. That's an off the wall. Hey, Amber, that's a little off the wall, but all right. Yeah. Hey, all right. Well, yeah. Well, okay. Hey, listen. Are you really going to just blow that off? Are you going to blow that off that Jason Kelsey said that there's an issue with the guy? Holy cow, we're at 90 likes. Not cool. We need to get those likes up, man. 250 today, guys. Please, I'm 250. Is that where we are, Xander? I'm going to take a time out here because don't forget, hey, Mark Farzetta is going to join us at 4:30. What else do we got here? I do want to go over that. I want to hit on this here. Where are we right now? We're at 95. All right. We're kind of in the room there a little bit. By the end of the 2 hours, got to be hanging around. I'd like to hang around 200 just to give us a little breathing room as we go towards the finish. Okay? So do me a favor. Please hit the like button. I want to get to 200 and let's go 255 today. Let's do 255. What do you say? So let's get to 255. Hit the like button here. I want to expand a little bit more on what we've kind of been talking about. I want to talk about the coordinators. Hey, guys, I was more positive listening to those guys today. I want to talk a little more about Kellen Moore. Can he really help Hurts? I'll leave it there. Hit the like button. Keep it here, National Football Show.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.